Hello and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad that you're here. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend if you do celebrate Christmas, and if not, I hope you just had a wonderful weekend. This video is a little bit late. I feel like everyone's already done a video about it, but I just wanted to talk about Gwendolyn Brown and some of her comments that she's made on YouTube and on her Patreon.
I do feel less about Robyn from watching this, but I feel like that's not very fair from me because I don't really like her as a person.
So that is the clip that is getting all of the attention, and to me that is what you say about someone when you don't care for them but you also don't have major beef with them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care for them as a person. Like, it's not really my type of person, but there's also nothing there that's huge. You know, we've heard Gwendolyn in past Patreon videos talk about how, you know, Robyn can be a little bit manipulative. Robyn likes to be the victim. She said that when she came out, after she came out to the family, Robyn said, "You should have saved that for the cameras." Now, Gwendolyn didn't act super offended by that, but she also didn't like that she said it to her. She didn't like that Robyn had said that to her. So to me, it's like one of those things where nothing huge has happened between them, but it's just enough to make her not like her very much. So I don't know. You know what? I don't think I like Robyn as a person either, and I haven't met her, but I don't think I would like her very well. So there's that. And from the comments I get on these videos, I think a lot of people don't like Robyn as a person. So it's not really anything mind-blowing. I think it is interesting to hear the Brown kids starting to get on social media and have a presence and like let people know how they really feel. Like Peyton and Gwendolyn, you know, they're out there. You can find their responses, though I think they hold back a little bit. It is interesting to see them finally out there on social media. My question for you guys, what child are you looking forward to hearing more from? Or what child would you like to hear from in the future? I think it would be really interesting to hear from Aurora, Brianna, or Dayton. Any one of them, to find out what it is like to be in the Cody COVID quarantine house, because I think there's like things we don't know that would be interesting, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't necessarily think it's like abuse or neglect, but I think it's just probably weird. Like, I think it's just weird stuff we wouldn't imagine, or things about Cody or things that he says and does like around the house that would surprise us. But I would like to hear from those kids. Let me fill you in a little bit really fast about Gwendolyn and her videos. She has a YouTube channel. She does not post on it often, but she does have a shortened video of one of her Patreon videos. So you get a little glimpse of what it would be like to subscribe to Patreon. She does reaction videos. She'll watch the show and then sort of just comment as she's watching it. That part's nice. I don't necessarily love it because you have to like watch the show on your own as she watches it. She has like a timestamp, so you can kind of watch it with her, but I don't know that I don't know. That's not my favorite part. But she does these Q&As. That's the good part. The Q&As are really good because the questions are submitted from Patreon subscribers. So if you subscribe, you can submit a question. It's voted on, and the ones that get the most votes, those are the questions she'll answer. So that makes her questions really good. It's stuff like we would want to know. So one of the questions she got asked was about if Robyn really reaches out to people the way she claims she does. You know, that's one of Robyn's sort of victim stories. She is so nice to everyone and she's always trying, but it's never returned. And then Cody sort of uses that when he's trying to, you know, justify why he spends all the time with Robyn and why Robyn's the favorite wife. She's trying so hard and everyone else is treating her bad. So the question goes to Gwendolyn, and it is, you know, does Robyn really do that? Does she really reach out? And listen to what Gwendolyn says.
So Robyn's never reached out to me like she claims. I reached out to her on her birthday. I like sent her a happy birthday. But she never did the same to me. So from my perspective, that's not, you know, the truth is what she claims.
Now, I want to be fair and let you know what she said next. And she said that Robyn had been really nice at a family function and that Robyn had went out of her way to introduce herself and get to know Gwendolyn's girlfriend. So she did have something nice to say after that. But here's my thing. If you're at a family function, how awkward is it to not go meet someone new? You know what I mean? Like, imagine being at a family function and your children are there and they're supposed to be your children too. You're supposed to be like a mom to them, but you don't go meet their new partner. So to me, that's like, in that situation, that's not a lot of effort. It's almost more work to not meet the new person. However, I do appreciate that Gwendolyn is, being positive. But, the truth is, Robyn doesn't reach out at other times. And I would be interested in hearing if any other kids in the family have a different experience. It does sound like McKelty does. Sounds like McKelty feels close to Robyn, but does Robyn really reach out to her, or does she have to reach out to Robyn? Gwendolyn also got asked about how she felt when her dad didn't go to the surgery with Isabel, and her response is kind of interesting and something, as a viewer, we forget. Like, I watch Cody and I watch his COVID rules, and there's so many, and they're so over the top and sort of unrealistic for most people. And I'm watching it at home, and you're angry, and you're kind of like, you can see that he's using it as an excuse, and that he's kind of being paranoid. He's going too far with it. And as a viewer, you're seeing it, but you know what? They're living it with him. And so she gets asked this question, how did you feel when he didn't go? And she's like, we didn't see him. He wasn't coming around. So it didn't even seem like a big deal. I think for them, they're in it with him and they're so used to what he was doing that it didn't seem like a big issue. But listen to what she says after that.
But looking back, it's definitely pretty upsetting that I saw that as normal.
So Gwendolyn says in the moment she thought it was normal, it took some time for her to realize, but eventually she realized her dad should have went to the surgery. We know Christine wanted him to go, and you could tell on the show Christine was unhappy. But if you go back and you think back to those episodes, when Cody was telling Isabel about why he couldn't go, she was sad, but she was also like understanding, like he can't go because there's so many of us and because of COVID. Gwendolyn says that, like, in the moment I just thought it was normal, but later I realized it wasn't right. I wonder how much being on the show and social media has made them sort of realize it wasn't right. I mean, I know Christine was upset that he wasn't going, but I wonder if the kids, because they've been raised in this and raised with him, it may be a little more challenging for them to see that it's not right because they're so used to it. And I wonder how much social media and the show has had an influence on these adult children realizing that they're not being treated very well by their dad. There's just one last thing I want to talk about, and that is the issue of Gabriel and Garrison moving out of Janelle's home. I'm sure many of us remember back when Cody told Janelle that Gabriel and Garrison needed to get out because they were not quarantining. They were not doing any of the COVID protocols that he wanted them to do. Whenever Cody went over there, he said he was going to be risking getting COVID because they wouldn't follow the rules. So they needed to go. He was saying that Gabriel and Garrison needed to get out. So Gwendolyn actually is watching the episode where Cody talks about this, and listen to her response.
He's the one that can't be an adult and go get a place.
I mean, Dayton still lives at home. He doesn't have a problem with that.
Did you hear her? She said Dayton lives at home and he doesn't have a problem with that. I am like, yes, yes, yes. You know what? Here's the thing. Sometimes we're watching this, and I don't know about you guys, but I'll be thinking in my head, like, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe we don't get it. Like, why is no one saying anything? And then, they'll say on the show, and Gwendolyn said it in her own videos, she'll say, we're non-confrontational. They don't want to address things. But then as a viewer, I'm like, somebody needs to address this. Hearing her say that sort of confirms what all of us have been talking about. Like, why is he pushing those kids out when there's a house full of adult children over at Robyn's house? So I just felt like that was the confirmation that many of us needed, that it just doesn't make a lot of sense. you know, and she says Dayton. Well, you know what about Aurora? She's entering her 20s. And I want to say something before someone comes at me in the comments. Listen, I don't think any of these kids need to be thrown out. I don't think they needed to be told to get out during COVID. I don't think they need to be told to get out before they're ready to. If their families can help them get a start in life and save up their money and like not end up with student loan debt and get a house instead of renting, I'm all about that. That's fantastic. But you can't pick and choose which of your kids you want to help. There has to be a pretty darn compelling reason why you would tell 2 of your sons to move out, but one of them can just live at home forever. There has to be a reason, and no one's talking about it. So they either need to address it, or like what we're saying is true and that he just has favorites. But I felt like Gwendolyn gave us a little bit of a confirmation there. So that is it. It was a short video today. Let me know in the comments what you think about what Gwendolyn is saying. Let me know, do you guys subscribe to her Patreon account? Do you follow any of the kids on social media? Yeah, just let me know. And if you haven't already, click like and subscribe and come back to Happily Ever Reality to hear more about your favorite reality TV shows.